Hey, almost. Here we go. All right. Hello. Ugh. Hey, beautiful beings. I just wanted to talk to y'all. Talk my shit, if I may. I talk a lot about life, and I feel like life is very important. I mean, that sounds plainly obvious, but I feel like our relationship with life is important. So my question then, really, does most people consider life one side of the polarity? The other got to be death, right? So, what is our relationship with death? I've gone into detail about what I feel like it is with life. And for a brief summary, I feel like life wants us to reach our potential. You know? A lot of times we'll have maybe a spark of an idea, maybe a moment of clarity where we see what we really want. And life is always listening. I think it's time that we listen as well to life. So, in life's listening ears, it checks out what we want, and then it helps us achieve that. And I say help loosely, okay? Because some people don't consider it help. Some people consider it torturous. Some people consider it a burden. But life loves us. And if we're telling life, yo, I need to be this, and we don't put that work in, life forces that work in. And then when you're forced to do the work, it don't feel the same as when you're doing it through your own choice and discipline, you know? But life loves us, so my question then is, if that's our relationship with life, then what is our relationship with death? What is death? And I have feelings on it, but I'm an outside the box fella, so it's not gonna be standard stuff. I read a lot of books of ancient philosophies, Buddhist, Taoism. Beyond this 3D duality world that we live in. We don't have to just focus on the physical. That we are spirits. We are yin to this physical yang. So what happens to our yin when we physically yang out and we're done with the physical part? Well, from I'll give you two perspectives. One is from what I've read, and the other is just what I feel. I don't know though. I don't remember dying. um, I've read that, and I'm gonna stick with this yin and yang, okay? Because it's the best way I know how to explain it, and the best way that it could be understood, perhaps. But the concept of yin and yang is just two opposites, just north and south of the same pole, okay? The same pole, just opposite ends. Polarity, So, yin is in, is spirit, is cool, is feminine. Yang is out, is masculine, is aggressive, is hot. So you see how these things are opposite but in the same right balances. Okay. That's enough for the basics. I think we get it. But what I've read is, if you spent your life focused on the yang, on the physical, on the outside, on only what you can see, none of the spirit, none of the inner work, none of the emotional development. Because if I could be frank with y'all, there's a lot of inner development that's lacking. There's a lot of inner programming that we stick to because we don't develop it. We're simply we live on autopilot and it becomes programmed for us. And then we have all of this stuff inside of us that we react with on a daily basis, but are not conscious about. It's more of a subconscious programming. The yin is the yin. That's the subconscious. So, from what I've read, if you have dedicated your life to cultivating yang, which is outward and just physical and just, I gotta get a job and I gotta get a girlfriend, I gotta do all these things, and you're just kind of following a plan that was given to you, as opposed to going inside and figuring out, well, what do I want my plan to be? Building self. A lot of people are just, we're all given self, obviously. Once we enter this body, we are self-manifested, but people don't spend time developing their self. It's just like in a video game, man. Once you create a character, you gotta work on them stats. You gotta go and do them extra missions, so that way you get them points that you can add to maybe your speed, your agility, whatever it is. It's the same thing, because once we practice things, we get our stats increase into whatever we're practicing. That's good outwardly in the yang stuff, but that could also be applied with the inward yin. Inside, in our hearts. So I feel like what we have to do is do that inner work. Because from what I've read, if you spent your life cultivating yang and just physical things, when that physical part of you is gone and you die and you are just yin and you are just your spirit, if you didn't work on cultivating that, if you didn't work on really living with your heart, if you didn't put your spirit into your actual life, then your spirit is not developed. And when our spirit is not developed, when our body goes, we're scared, we're frightened, we don't even know what we are. What's left is all that part that we've ignored our entire physical existence. So if you don't put any of that while you're here on life, while you're living with this blessing that is, if you don't put any work in to cultivating your inside, your inner self, if you don't understand why you do things, what you want, why life is happening the way that it is, if you cannot be in natural harmony with life, because yin is also, as yin is feminine, it is Mother Earth. So we have to, and human beings, every life form, Mother Earth is yin. Father Sky is yang. It's the balance. So just like Mother Earth is yin, all of the creatures that live upon her are yang. So yang is the physical, because us creatures, us humans, us animals, the trees, everything that lives on Earth is balanced with Earth. So if you spent your whole life and you've just been fucking around with the yang, and you haven't truly yinned it out and worked on your yin and your inside, if you don't, if your answer to most things is, I don't know, you're fucked. You have to know. Because you're the only one who will know. And I mean with yourself. I don't mean with, what's the square root of 12,086? It's alright to not know that. But if it's like, yo, what do you want to do? And you're like, I don't know. And as the end of the discussion, you're not cultivating, you're not building, you're not creating yourself. You're just kind of going with the flow of whatever, which can be cool, but you have to know if you want that or not. Because if you go with the flow, then you're just going to be reactive. And when things happen to you, you're going to be like, oh, why is life doing this? That's all that yang shit. That's all that outside shit. Once you cultivate some inner work and you put some strength in your spirit, well then, it's a whole different ballgame. Your words are no longer hollow. They have depth to them. Your decisions ripple into this fucking world and affect others. You have strength in your being. And that strength shows in everything you do. That's the yin, because that's the inside. Without working on the yin, we're hollow, baby. We're just the shell. And in this world, the problem with the matrix, the problem with the system is that they make us believe. They make us believe that this physical shit is all there is. Anything else is supernatural, which means it ain't even natural. It's some whole nother other shit, which ain't even true. How's something gonna be supernatural? That means it's like extra natural? Bitch, that means natural. I don't understand. So, don't fall into the hype of all the programming and all the matrix and all the bullshit that they fucking force down. They force down our mind. And then our mind forgets about our spirit because our mind is a computer, you know? Our spirit, our heart, that's the energy. That's the intention. It's the feeling behind what you do. Well, our thoughts are just the mechanisms of what we do. The programming, the plan, the blueprint of how we're gonna act. You know, when and I'm noticing there's a big difference between being in your head and being in your heart. When I used to when I took rhyming real seriously and I'd perform and stuff, I would have to when I would practice performing, I dreaded performing. I hated to perform. Good Lord. But I learned now the difference between how I used to practice and how I practice now. And I used to practice in my head, like memorized, like word for word, flow for flow, this to that, breathe here, breathe that. Like I outlined a perfect little box to perform in that had rules and regulations, what was correct, what was incorrect. This written formula is how I had to perform. And if I fucked up one syllable, it was a wrap. Because everything else would jumble up afterward. I fucked up the program. And you know, some people could stumble over the words and just keep it moving. And that's good, because that's being in the present. The present is the heart. That's that yin. While the mind is the program. The logistics of it. You know, the words. How they should be said. Not the feeling in the words. Not the connection between me and the audience. Not the being present while I perform. But the running out of the program. Boop, play. Mechanical, very mechanical. This, I say this now, I say this now, I cannot mess up, But recently I performed and I stood within my heart because I wanted to be felt. I don't give a fuck if you hear me, I want you to feel me. So being in my heart is very different when you perform. Because back in the day I was in my head and I would be blank. I would be saying things very mechanical. I was not present. The whole time I was like, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up. But now, even if I fuck up, it's not a problem. Because I'm here in the moment and I can pick it up. It's different, you know? Anyhow, so when we stay in our minds, it's very different than staying in our hearts, you know? Because our minds are always thinking. They're always computing something. They're figuring it out. And what they're figuring out is something that had happened previously or something that's going to happen. If you're in your mind, you're never in the present moment because our mind isn't really looking around thinking about what's currently happening. Our mind is like, oh, this is on TV. What's next? Oh, future. Okay, you're not present. Or, oh man, what should I have to eat? What did I eat yesterday? Past. Okay. Our thoughts never keep us present because our thoughts take us away from our feelings. But our thoughts can be tricky because our thoughts can fabricate feelings that become real through thoughts. Because right now, I am blessed. In this present moment, I am blessed. I'm alive. It's cold outside. I'm inside. I ain't cold. I've got food. I have technology in which I can talk to myself so I don't feel so lonely in my own selfness. I don't really have much else that I could ask for. I'm blessed and grateful for it. And that's being in my heart. Because my heart is here. And I can look here and I can feel here. But my head is not here. My head is in my check next week. Oh shit, what am I gonna... Oh shit. My head is in... Oh, I got this fucking pain. Am I gonna die? Yeah, my head is worried. My head is thinking. My head is processing shit. It's constantly processing information. The heart looks at the heart observes information. While the brain processes information and comes to some kind of conclusion or result. Nah, yo, just be, man. heart that bitch out sometimes. But we need balance regardless. So even though I'm pro heart, we need balance. And I cannot neglect the mind. I cannot neglect the ego. I cannot neglect the physical. I cannot act like there's only the spiritual. I will stand by my thoughts, my feelings, in sincerity. That the spiritual, that the yin, that all the mystical, magical shit is more real than this physical reality. Which is why, personally, I place an emphasis on it. Have you ever been in deep meditation where you are everything and anything? Yo, let me tell you, I'm going to share with you a little something. I recently got hurt at work. And I am in great pain. I'm trying not to dwell on that because, goddamn it, I'm a healer. I'm going to heal my goddamn self. First of all. Second of all, the body heals. So regardless of what I feel like I am as Gary, regardless of what the fuck Gary thinks, the body heals. All you gotta do is not fuck it up while it heals. Okay, these are understandings I've come to grasp. I'm with it. But in these moments, we have to balance both, okay? Because what I was saying, what I was referring to a moment ago, I lost myself, sorry. I heard the cat running, and it threw me off. And, so I'm physically a little fucked up right now. Now I move a little bit, it hurts. I'm not in the best yang place. So I know that healing chi is deep diaphragm breathing. So I'm breathing in with my belly. So I'm focused, I'm meditating, I'm not doing a lot of physical things right now, you know. And in this meditative state, I'm like, for real, yo, dead ass. I connect with the everything. And I can connect with my guides. And I'm instructed on what to do. And I know when I'm laying down, I can't move, and I'm like, ugh. I can't move to the side. And they're like, don't. What you need to do is breathe. And breathe with your belly so that way it doesn't hurt, because it only hurts when you move like this. And I'm like, oh yeah, true. So it's like I'm learning how to, I don't know, I'm teaching myself how to get by, I suppose. But that's in the physical form. When I'm in the astrals, when I am meditating and I'm doing that deep breathing to heal, I'm not physical. I'm limitless. I don't feel any pain. I'm not even here. I am not here. I'm with the ancestors. I am exploring things. People, like, I'm being communicated with. I'm learning things. It's like a weird school of, it's like a dream, bro. Like, it's like a dream in the sense that once it's done, it's hard for me to recollect. I knew what was happening when it was there. While it was happening, I was experiencing it. I was in my heart. I was present. I was in the moment for all of it. But then once it's gone, when I try to recall it, I didn't make any notes while I was there. I wasn't like, yo, bro, remember this crazy fucking tree that's talking to you, bro? Remember this shit? I try to remember this shit, but when I tell myself, yo, bro, this shit is crazy, remember this. There was this one time I saw a book. I was meditating. I was just meditating in the car for like 10 minutes. And I was being read a book of like ancient knowledge or something weird, yo. And they were saying something to me. This book was being read. I wasn't reading this book. I was hearing the words that was coming from this book. And my ego, the small part of me, the one that doesn't believe all this magical shit because he's still just a fucking human, was like, yo, bro, you're just thinking. You're just thinking this shit, and there's an elaborate play around it. All you're doing is thinking of sentence. And your imagination is pretending like this sentence is coming from some book that someone else is reading to you. And I remember the way the book looked. The book, it was brown leather. It had gold trim on it. It had a lock on it. It looked like a very important book. It looked like the type of book that like people spend their whole lives looking for. Like a very important, significant book. So as these words were being read to me, my ego, who didn't believe it, was like, yo, bro, you're just thinking this shit. Of course it's gonna look like these are just your thoughts. You're just thinking. You're just thinking, and you're disguising it as some kind of fucking crazy experience. Ooh, some mystical, spiritual fucking bullshit. And then the voice that was reading it to me, like I felt this from it. I felt like this. Kind of like that, the looking at the ego like, fuck out of here with your small bullshit, bro. And then it continued reading the same sentence that got interrupted from the ego talking his shit. It looked over and continued the sentence. It picked up right where it was cut off. And I don't remember the I don't remember the words. I don't remember the content. But the fact that, yo, if I was just thinking this, and then I had a sub-thought that was like, oh, this is some bullshit, bro, that would have been the new train of thought, and the old thought was gone. And this would have been the new train of thought, and I would have continued carrying it on. But I dropped the bullshit ego thought, and I continued with the vision. And I was like, yo, this shit is wild. But how you tell people this shit? Like, to the self of me is like, yo, bro, this shit super real, super bugged out. We got to get better at remembering this. We got to get better at retaining this information. But anyhow. So, my point is that I feel like the spiritual, the inner essence, the soul, the yin that I speak of, the heart, the being present in the moment, that's what's most important. Of course, we still have to calculate. I gotta know how I'm getting money, what I'm gonna do. I live in the matrix, bro. It's not like I don't live in the system. Look, I'm in a home. Do you see me in a tribe where I don't gotta worry about money? Where I'm growing my own fucking food and living life with people who are happy to be? Not yet, baby. I'll get there, but for the time being, I'm here. Here I am. So I need my mind. I need my ego to navigate this crazy physical terrain. But once my ego is gone, and my life force spirit has left the physical, and I become a pure being of yin, and I give up this yang shit, and I'm gone, I want you guys to know that I love you, that I am grateful for every lesson that I've learned through you guys. Like, I've learned the most important lessons from my father. I've learned the most powerful lessons from my daughter. I learned lessons on the daily from my girlfriend. You know, the people in our lives that are important to us are our teachers. And if you resist them because they wear the mask of an enemy, and you resist the lessons that they're trying to teach you, you're not working on that yin. You're staying in the yang. And from what I've read, if you die without cultivating yin, and you spent your whole life just being yang, being physical, and then the physical is gone, and all you have is that inner shit that you never worked on, you as a spirit will be a version of yourself that you've never been. You will be unrecognizable to the living. There is yin and yang energy. So once you physically die and you are just a yin spirit, you can physically manifest with yang energy. If there's someone around who has a lot of yang energy, who's fired up, who's putting a lot of this physical energy into the ether, and you are a yin spirit in that vicinity, you could use that yang energy to manifest. It may be, you may not appear like a ghost. You may be able to use that energy to move something, make something fall, make a sound, something. I don't fully understand it. But if in this lifetime you do not cultivate that yin, once you lose your yang and you are fucking dead, you're going to be an unrecognizable spirit. Because your spirit you never touched. So that spirit version of you is gonna be like a holy, like a holy, like just like this fucking, is gonna be the factory default version of a spirit. It's not gonna have any of your swag in it. It ain't gonna have none of your personality. It's gonna be, and please forgive me for saying this because I respect highly Buddhist monks and all types of enlightened beings of that nature. But that's what you're gonna be like. You're gonna be like a pure spirit, the pure spirit being that doesn't have any personality, that doesn't really have, you probably have memories, but you don't identify with them. It's like having no heart. Or, no, I'm sorry, it's like being, it's like being the spirit essence of yourself without any of the fun stuff that you've built your whole life working on. You know what I mean? You're not like, I feel that I've cultivated some yin. You know, I've been, I've been training, man. I've been working these past couple years doing that solely. Like, that, I get it. I don't want to, this is what I want to do. And I want, when I'm gone, for me to be still very much like me. Because I know motherfuckers is like, yo, when you die, that's it. But I'll be honest with you. This is a long video, so my apologies. What I began saying was I'm going to share two opinions. One I have read, which is what I was saying about cultivating the yin and yang, is that once you're gone, make sure that you have, while you were here on earth, make sure you cultivate your inner self. Okay, go inside, feel those feelings. Ask yourself why. And if the answer is, I don't know, dig deeper. Dig. You have to dig within yourself to explore yourself, to really be, to create the self that you always want. You know, sometimes we're on this default self where we're just on autopilot and we become programmed. But it's very important to go inside on your own. Don't do it subconsciously. Do it with intention. Do it consciously. Ask yourself why you are doing these things. Is this what you really want? Ask yourself if you are creating karma. What are you doing to others? Are you hurting others accidentally because you're not thinking about it? Because you're just on autopilot? And in autopilot, you can't see that far. It's almost like tunnel vision. But when you are consciously aware of something, you can see the whole spectrum. And you have to activate that awareness. You have to click on the consciousness instead of the autopilot. So, that's the first opinion. Secondly, I think the only thing different that happens when you die is you lose your body. That is all. That's it. That's the only difference. That's it. And without a body, see, our body, this is the growth machine. This is our vessel that we use in order to grow and understand things. As a spirit, you are the everything. You are the everything. And you could get that direct plug to the everything. Yo, if you everything, how are you supposed to learn anything? You can't learn anything when you're everything. You get what I'm saying? It's also like if you have every choice in the world of what to eat for lunch. Let's say you have the largest table you could imagine with every kind of food on it that you could think of. And you're like, yo, pick one. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be hard to focus on just one with all of this. Just like when you are the everything as a spirit, it's hard for you to focus on lessons of growth that you need for your own spiritual personal development. We say personal, and in regards to the person. But I say spiritual personal, because in regards to your own personal spirit. Because though we are all connected, it's very similar to this. This right here is my fingernail. My fingernail is one unique thing. This guy right here on my pointer. He is one thing, this fingernail. But there are more, there are others. But he is unique. And he is an individual as a fingernail. But this fingernail is just a piece of this finger. And once you're able to realize that you're not just a fingernail, that you are an entire finger? You use your fingernail more efficiently because you get that's not all you are. You know, as a fingernail, you may be trying to scratch like this. But then once you realize you're a finger, you're like, yo, I could bend it. Now I can reach other places. Now I'm not just what I was. Now I could, okay, this feels better. And then you realize that you're a hand. And as a hand, you have so much more power than a fingernail. And as you keep journeying down, you see there's a fucking arm and an entire body. And you can connect to the entire God body of everything. But you're also still a very powerful individual. Okay? But your individual power is nothing compared to your whole power. So reconnect. Get back to that whole, okay? Because once you die, the only thing that changes is you don't have a body. So while you have this body, learn these lessons. This is what you are here for. I promise you. I know you may not remember. I know you may be confused. If any bit of this resonates with you, then you know it's the truth. If not, I'm sorry. I don't speak Yang that well. I'm trying to get better. But know that with an absolute certainty. Once my Yang is done, and I am just a Yin being, a spirit, I feel like I'm going to take a lot of me with me. I feel like I've learned a lot. You know, they say, death is no cure for ignorance. Yo, that's such a funny fucking thing. That goes hand in hand with the only thing that happens is you lose your body. Yo, if you're still an ignorant asshole, when you die, you're going to have the energy of an ignorant asshole. You're going to be an ignorant asshole spirit. Because you didn't do any of that inner work. So all your insides were programmed with ignorant asshole behaviors and responses. And you are not an ignorant asshole. It's just the programming. You need the strength to deprogram. It's hard, I get it. That's why I started consciously eating healthy. You know, I've only been vegan a year and change. I was a vegetarian for a year before that. But I had to consciously make the decisions. No more autopilot. I'm sick of being on autopilot. I want to be able to decide what kind of life I have. As opposed to life just hit me with some shit and me be like, alright, well, now what can I do? Me and life, I want life and I to be dancing every moment. So thank you all. I appreciate you guys. Anybody watching this? Anybody who isn't? The conscious collective of everybody. Know that you guys may have my yin anytime. My spirit is with you. So when my body isn't, it's not even going to matter. It may matter to you. You may be saddened by it. You may miss me. But you cannot miss what you already have. And I'm yours. Everything about me that you guys enjoy is the part of me that I get straight from Source. And we're all connected to Source. So if you ever want anything that I would say, just ask God. And you're going to get something along the lines of something I'd say. With a little bit of remix, a little bit of flavor, some sauce on it. Some of that Gary sauce. But the message will always be the same. And the love will always be pure. Nice. I love you guys so much. I love my daughter who taught me. My daughter taught me a lot. You know, she's 14 right now. And you know, in growing and becoming a young woman, you know, she taught me that I can't treat her the same way I did when she was a child. You know, as a child, you shadow your parents and you echo them, and that's how you learn to be. But when you get older, you you cultivate a version of self that you like, and that's how you are. And a lot of the times, the parents may have conflicting views on what is self to you. And my daughter has anxiety, and me, I don't deal with anxiety much. So of course, I wanted to help her. I wanted to be like, no, don't be anxious. Oh, if you're anxious about this, well then do that. And I was just trying to fix the problem at hand, because I know that I don't want her to suffer. I love her. I love her so much. She draws. She's funny. Like, there's so much amazing things about her. She is a character, man. I tell you, y'all think I'm a character, man. She is the everything. And she's taught me so much, man. She's taught me to get out of my own way, get out of what I think it is, and, stop. As a parent, you're like the boss. What you say goes. That's it. But, in her growing and developing herself, it challenged me to think differently. And I have to respect her. She's not the same little girl that I would make little videos of when she was 5 and we'd be like fucking hanging out together. She's not daddy's little girl no more. She's her own person. She's her own girl. And I'm proud of her for that. I've made mistakes, but I am so proud of her for how she's grown. And I hope that one day, probably when she gets older, I hear this a lot, in their teenage years, they kind of stray away, and then they come back and build stronger relationships. I hope I'm around to see those days. Because, ironically, and I'm going to share this with y'all because I'm yin right now, baby. I'm inside. You ain't even talking to me. You getting all this. You talking to my heart. At most, if I feel like bragging, this is heart wisdom. But with my father, he taught me very similarly that, when I was younger, I looked at him in a certain way. And then as I grew older, into my teenage years, I looked at him in a completely alternate way than I did. And there was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of back and forths. A lot of expectations I had on him because I was young. I didn't treat him like he was just a person. I treated him like, oh, he's my dad. He needs to be doing this, that, and the other. Like I wasn't receiving to anything. I was just demanding and expecting. And as strange as this sounds, my own personal growth peaked maybe 2 years ago with the shit with my daughter when she was 12, and we were having issues with just her growing up. Nothing crazy, but just her growing up. And it was around then that I saw her perspective of how she saw me as a father. And in my brain, everything flashed, and it was the same thing about how I would be reacting to my father. And now I was the father, and she was the me when I was young. And it was able to help me understand how my father felt that I never even thought about, because I was too busy being a fucking selfish kid. And my daughter teaching me that helped me to understand my father, like, in a way I never did. And though he's been yin, he hasn't been yang. He's not been physical in like a decade. He's been gone for a while. Truth, honestly, in reality, in all sincerity, my relationship with my father blossomed when I grew 2 years ago. Because then I understood him, and I would communicate with him with a new respect. My emotions, my heart was all fucked up because I was holding on to shit. Even when I thought I had let go. When he died, like, we had a last conversation where we had just like forgiven each other of all of our outstanding bullshit. And it was like, it was heavy. And I thought I had cleared out a bunch of shit. But I had only cleared out what I was conscious of. All of the shit that I didn't understand was still there. And then my daughter helped me understand. And I was able to clear out a lot of shit. You know, a lot of it was sad, man. It's my daughter, yo. I love her. But you gotta give people space to grow. You know, it's just like we're planting a seed. You can't put too many seeds together. They all need their own space to grow. So I've learned a lot. And I think that the lessons on this Yang plane, this earth, I feel like, I don't think I've learned everything. I feel like I have learned a lot, though. And I'm grateful for everybody who has helped me with my lessons. I'm grateful for my mother, who has one of the best hearts that I know. And her heart was the comforter and the pillow that helped incubate and create my heart. And I couldn't be anything. I couldn't even be a teeny tiny fraction of who I am if it wasn't for her. If it wasn't for her love. If it wasn't for her spirit. You know, and you know, a lot of friends that I've had over the years. I love y'all. We may have grown apart. I know I'm really unusual these days, man. So it's hard to relate to me. It's hard to have conversations that are not just about small talk. Hey, small talk. Let's have big talk. But what I consider big, y'all don't even give a fuck about. And what y'all consider big, I don't have any interest in. So all we have left is small talk. But I don't want to talk at all. I just want to love you guys. I want you to feel the feelings that I have for y'all. Not through words. Words are small little boxes that feelings respectfully should not be contained in. I love you guys, y'all. I miss a lot of y'all. I've had to cut some people loose that I thought I would never have to cut loose. But for everybody that I've met, everybody who's here, everybody who cares about me, even though I've changed, everybody who cares about this fucking yin, Gary, about this heart that I've only really started developing in the latest chapter of my life, and that you guys may only know the ego of Gary that I have been working hard to dead. I love y'all, yo. And my heart does not give any fucks less for any one of y'all. In fact, the reason why I may keep my distance is so that way I don't say some shit that might come across like I'm being a dick and make you feel bad. You shouldn't feel bad. And I shouldn't be saying anything that might make anyone feel bad. That is not the way. Everybody has their own path, and I respect that. And the thing is, I have to let you guys be on your path. Because until you figure out what your path is, you may take me off mine. And I know what my path is. And I can't have it any other way. And to my beautiful queen, Julie, whom I love with a passion that words could never do justice. You've taught me so much. So much in just these 5 years. So much of me. I've changed. I am fucking eternally grateful that you have not just gotten sick of my shit. Because I've changed a lot since when we first met. But I'm grateful that you're here with me. I'm grateful that you support my growth. I'm grateful that you're growing too. I'm like beyond grateful for that. I'm thankful to have somebody to go through these life journeys with. I'm very proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I hope I make you proud. Everybody. I know that in order to be in balance, in harmony with life, that we have to respect others. And that's inner work. That's yin shit. You have to respect others enough to allow them to be who they are. Even if they don't know who they are. Even if they're trying to find out who they are. If they ask for help and they're open to receive it, then give them help. But you have to respect them. Julie, I love you so fucking much, babe. So much. And I respect you greatly. You've made so much fucking progress. I see a lot of times, I see parts of you that you can't see yet. I see them and I'm like, oh baby, once you meet this part of you, you're gonna fucking flip. It's gonna be so good. All in due time. Your path is fucking beautiful. Alongside the right and left side of your path, there are flowers blooming and lots of succulents. Okay? Nothing you're allergic to. Plant life. So I'm just saying this because I'm grateful for life. And I feel like my relationship with life, only recently too, man, only recently, but still, most powerfully, has been a blessing. And I am honored to be in the presence of everybody I've mentioned, as well as everybody I come across with. Everybody that I cross paths with, that I come across. I'm just grateful. Thank you guys. Remember, work on yourself. Go inside and do that inner work. Because in this third dimensional space, this is the place to do the work. Once we're gone from here, we can't do work anymore. We got to come back to do work. So get as much work as you can done. Please, you don't have to come back. I don't know if I want to come back. I always go back and forth about it. Times when I realize my true power, when I don't feel like a fingertip, but I feel like an entire fucking arm, I love being here. I can't wait to come back. But times when I'm just a fingertip, I'm like, yo, I'm done with this shit, man. I ain't never coming back. I cannot wait to be back in the arms of the infinite. But it's not up to me. It's up to life. And I feel like my relationship with life is good. And I know that my relationship with death will be grand. I love you guys. Have a great day, and remember to respect life and respect yourself. Thank you. Oh man, I'm fucked up, bro. See, niggas be like, oh, why you do a video like you're about to die? No, bro, ain't no coincidence.